Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm EVM and this is the, This is the BMW iX M60, which essentially means it's been breathed on by the M division, although it's not quite a proper M car, that's coming later. And it's an SUV with a horrendous amount of power, 618 brake horsepower, I believe, and 1,100 Newton meters of torque, which means this thing is ballistic, not to 16, 3.8, but it's an SUV and it's a BMW. And let's get rid of the elephant in the room, which every review is mentioning, and it is the grille. I remember when Chris Bangle started doing the BMW cars quite a few years ago now, and I quite liked them, but he got a lot of stick from the BMW kind of purists and just people in general. But I think they've aged really well. I like a Bangle designed BMW these days. I think they've grown on everybody. This, I think, is the... No, I can't do it. This will not grow in me. I'm sorry. Why? I get it. It's your brand, but supersized. It just looks like somebody's badly photoshopped. You know, like when someone does that leg thing where they make longer legs on Instagram or something. But you know what? This isn't a car for the outside. It's more about the inside. But let's carry on. We've got these headlights, which I think do look quite cool. If this was better, this would be a handsome SUV-ish. Obviously, with it being an M60, the M-breathed on car, if you will, you've got all this kind of front aggressiveness, the big teeth at the bottom from the grille protruding, and if it wasn't for the big number plate kind of breaking it up, I think it would look bizarre. But I don't know. What do you think in the comments? Will this be a grower? It's a big car. I'm getting quite tired just walking around it, but that's what the high-end BMWs and SUVs are about, isn't it? This is the technological flagship of BMW when it comes to EVs. Everything they know and learnt from the previous I division stuff, it's here. The handles, I actually like these. Rather than the silly kind of flush and pop out stuff, you just put your hand in and press a button. Wow, that's magic. The rear entry, it's good. We'll look at the interior in a second. Charge port here. This will charge obviously on CCS. We'll give you the specs in a second. It just feels like there's some good engineering going on. So good flaps. Uh-oh. Didn't break anything, promise. Yeah, it's one that's going to fill your driveway. It's not going to be popular in a supermarket car park, I surmise. And there's not really much to tell you about other than it's got SUV proportions and there's a dog. Hello. Hello, you. Hello. Go on. Neither of those dogs were harmed when they saw the front of this car. Just want to make that very clear. The rear, clearly you can tell it's, again, SUV territory. You got this aggressive low end because M60 badge, of course. That lets everybody know what tier of management you're at in the company. I do like these kind of slimline, I'll call them, rear lights. They look really cool at night as well, but unfortunately we can't film it at night. We haven't got the car for that long. I mean, you've got the aggressive M stuff all over the place, and I do like the fact they've put the camera for the reversing camera in the badge. They've integrated it, so there has been some thought going on here. Now the boot, press a button. Of course you don't have to lift it up. Who would do that? You do have these rather strange lights either side, which are of course a German thing. You have to be lit at night, so I can understand that, but it makes it quite narrow, and it's quite a bit smaller than the Mercedes EQC boot, so it's not the biggest in its class by far, but it is nice and flat, and you got a little bit of storage under there for your cables and whatever. So you are quite deep, but just not very tall. Obviously you can remove this, and if I press these buttons here, they go down automatically. Brilliant. And that gives you a nice flat-ish load bay, but it's really easy to get stuff in and out with. So rear entry, as always, very important to BMW drivers. And with it being a car that goes well above £110,000, you don't have to shut your own boot. That's for the muggles. I think at this point we need to get inside, because as I said earlier, for me this is about the interior. the engineering, the feel, and of course, thanks to this M badge, the performance. Oh, that's a weighted door, and I have to say, feels very solid and engineered. It's two-spoke, it's got the flat bottom. I will turn the car on, which you do, pressing this start-stop button, of course. Ooh. And then you get this display, which is very clear, very easy to understand, all the usual stuff. And of course, you can cycle through the various functions. I won't go through on this one because you know what they look like. It's a virtual cockpit and it's very high definition. Here you have, of course, the iDrive controller. This is like a haptic feedback thing, so I can press media and it affects that. You can use the iDrive to cycle through various stuff, or of course, you can use it as a touch screen. So you've got all options, and of course it does Android Auto, Apple CarPlay wirelessly. Underneath here, you can put your phone, of course, to wirelessly charge. You've got USB-C, and you've got the cup holders. Again, this is very well spec'd, so this does look different on standard iX models. This is the high spec one. It's got this crystal thing here. To adjust the seats, you've got the crystalness here. It's a bit much for me, but why not? Okay, I can understand that. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. I mean, you've got good storage down there. You've got a bit here for things. And it just feels
nice,
like, yeah, it feels like they've put some money into that. You can see where at least some of your money's gone. Now, I think, as you're here, Harry, we have to see what's it like. Press the button.
Here we go.
That's not massive, is it, really?
There's a bit, but it's not, you can't get that in lengthways.
Oh, right. Under here, it's quite nice. It's almost like speaker fabric, but
It is,
higher end stuff.
It is, yeah. That's exactly what it feels like.
And the dashboard there?
Very soft, yeah. Yeah. Leather or leatherette.
These feel like they are,
And that's
very
solid,
well
isn't it?
engineered.
Nice click to that.
Then you've got the usual kind of BMW switchgear stuff and this nice sort of touch feeling. But once we go down here, you've got decent door bin. You know, you've got lots of space, but it's a bit hardwarey plastic sort of thing. It's soft. It's not like cheap, but I'm not sure this is a car that goes well into the three figures.
You'd want, I mean, even...
Yeah, I mean, there's bits that you don't necessarily touch, but you do see.
What's this for?
That's where that normally goes.
But why?
Oh, well, I guess it's so you can pull the door. Because if you try and
with
open
this
your
bit?
door, it's, well, I guess,
A blanking plate.
a blanking plate.
Or
one.
maybe make a different switch for it.
If you look up, Harry,
Oh.
that, you press a button and it goes up, it goes clear.
Does it?
Oh,
I think that...
that is cool, isn't it? The seats, of course, not the standard fare in the iX, but in the M60, they are nicer than that.
With a nice feel to
Stop
it as well.
rubbing them in that way, Harry. But
I think that, yeah, one of the best things about the car are the seats.
and that's my favourite feature, is that. And probably it goes cataracts when you get out of the car as well.
Does it?
Yes, so no one can jump on the roof and see what you've got inside your car. Would you say this is a three-seater across the rear bench?
I would say
for
so,
adults,
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, it's a flat floor again.
Is it a flat floor completely?
Yeah, completely, yeah.
Right, so that's good. That's like ground up electric carness of it all, and that is a benefit, of course. Now we have to say, you can see now how kind of hard it is to see out the back, and look at the massive rear pillars.
Wow.
So when you're driving it, thank God it's got cameras, should we say, and you're reversing, because it is very kind of dark. It looks dark to me, but is it? I mean, you got this massive panoramic sunroof. Does that help?
It does feel a bit dark in the back. Yeah, I think the seats take out quite a bit of light just because they're just so...
Right, so you can't see.
I think that's the way
Press the button. There we go.
Oh, look at that.
So you can actually rest your arm on there without putting it in the cup holders.
You've got two USB-C on the back of here. And this, which I can only imagine...
Do you want to know what that's for? Clip-on a coat hanger or a laptop tray that looks like it came from IKEA. It looks quite cheap.
Right.
So you can do your work in the
For
back
the
of the car.
travelling salesman.
There you go.
There, park up at the side, do your important work.
Yep. They know their owners.
They do. Yep.
You get the noise. And this has BMW, I forgot what they call it, but essentially it makes an engine noise. So let's put it, of course, into my modes. I do like this haptic feedback thing,
nice,
but you do have to take your eyes off the road to press
do
them.
that, yeah.
So there is a little bit of that. So we've got personal, obviously where you can program your own, sport, efficient, expressive, and relaxed.
What's expressive like? It's like this. Sport. Dynamic setting for pure driving pleasure.
So you
Oh.
can see that almost like, you probably won't pick it up on camera, it was like a little ooh. This is the latest version, and for me, I've never had, apart from the very early ones, a bad iDrive.
Oh, I've gone from having a Mini, which had the iDrive, to an Audi, and I really miss the iDrive.
It is very,
just
very
works,
nice.
doesn't it?
Yeah, so
Oh.
I don't know if you can pick it up on the audio, but
It's like,
it's kind of like the Genesis effect, isn't it? That GV60,
It is.
they have that. But I mean, of course, you can turn everything off. That's clear. You've got electric adjustable everything.
It's got.
So, is this a car where you've just got, you don't really pay attention too much to the exterior?
No, it's
which
an
is
inside, isn't it?
very Marmite.
I think cars are getting more like that now, aren't they?
Yeah.
They you know, you get the Euro box on. They all tend to look the same.
Yeah.
So it's what they can do on the inside.
I do prefer a better interior as opposed to exterior, because essentially this is where you spend most of your time.
Yeah.
And this is, well, it's very quiet. I mean, it's EV quiet.
It sounds like you've stalled it and coasting.
Yeah. I mean, sports mode. I'm going to stop.
And
Here we go.
bloody hell! Wow.
That was 60 in 3.8 seconds.
Wow. And it felt like it.
Oh, you know, it felt, probably because of the SUV.
It's got a bit of theatre.
It's quicker than the Taycan, it felt, I mean.
Yeah.
I don't mean it is, I mean it just felt quicker. That shows that the Taycan's very good at putting it down, whereas this, it did point up a little bit, didn't it? But
Jesus Christ!
it's brutal.
That's aggressive.
It is, isn't it? I mean,
That's
that'd give
really-
you whiplash
yeah,
if you
really
didn't
aggressive.
warn somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the perfect car to do the old...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's one of the quickest cars I have ever driven, to feel, not in actual terms. And we're talking supercar territory, is this?
It definitely is, yeah. No, it's
not even a proper M car.
No, I can imagine what the M card's going to be like. I think it's for torque, isn't it? And it's that instant power delivery.
1100 newton meters of torque.
I mean, that's enough to spin the world.
Yes. Very narrow streets. So it doesn't feel like I'm driving a massive car. It does actually feel quite
it's
nimble, weirdly.
An M4.
Ah, there we go. Right, so let's see if it's... I mean, you've got the beautiful 3D camera.
That's nice, isn't it?
And it really is what you call a proper high definition sort of...
You do need that, though, given the visibility in this car.
Yeah, the visibility is not great,
poor.
but I don't think many people who are changing lanes in this car will
gonna-
be looking to see who's in that lane anyway. I mean, you don't need to look at that
Well, you won't even
mirror
use
because you're always in the outside lane.
Well, you won't even use your indicators.
No. Well, yeah, it does have them. Look, listen.
Wow. And they actually click as well.
They click so you know you're using them.
Wow.
I won't go so far as say nimble, but I would
Has it
say
got that weight balance?
it feels like I'm driving a 3 Series, but
Yeah,
taller. If that's a bad analogy, but I don't feel like anybody would get in this and go,
Oh, I can't do
"Oh,
this.
this is a bit." I mean, it looks a mile away, does the rear, so it feels
It's
small to
it
drive,
feels
but it's
narrower.
big.
Is it narrow?
Yes, and the fact that this is so close, the windscreen,
Yeah.
I think that gives you
Helps
that
you.
feeling. When you got that really, like is it Model X?
Yeah,
where it
yeah,
goes
where it just
really
rakes
down
up,
there.
yeah.
You feel like you're miles away from the front, and you're like that. You're not taking it around the track, are you?
No.
So this is, let's face it, high-level management tier company car material, isn't it? It's their flagship. It's got everything they've learned. But I have to say, sitting here,
Yeah.
there are a few cheap bits that you wouldn't expect from a car of, I think it's 116 grand or something now. But what's it's just obscene, isn't it?
It's worse than that seat.
Yeah, because you don't know when someone's going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, granted we're in sport mode, but even then, sunglasses just going funk. How big do you think the battery is? Bear in mind that a long-range Model 3 is a 70-odd.
It's going to have to be an 80 to 90s.
105.
Wow.
105 kilowatt hour is the biggest battery I've ever
massive.
physically sat in. Now, the range, what would you say? Is this an efficient car in your mind? It's a big SUV. It's
200 miles.
2.6 tonnes. The M60, I mean now.
Yeah, no.
And you do lose range in the M60, of course. But the standard iX, genuinely, this is what people have gone out and tested in real-world driving. One guy in, I think it was Germany, did, again, a normal tootling around, bit of motorways, bit of everything. He got 380 miles out of it.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought that. I mean, I'm thinking more Polestar sort of.
No, well, yeah, it's a lot more efficient than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
The real world range of this is above 300 miles, and that's real world range. Not manufacturer range, real world. Now, the massive battery helps, but it doesn't seem to suffer from that. Let's just whack a bigger battery in it, and because it's so heavy and then now it's not efficient. You have to literally hold on. Well, I think it would be rude
Not
for
to.
us not to do another launch.
You ready?
I'm putting my head against the headrest here.
3, 2, 1.
Jesus.
My stomach actually went then. And I'm driving.
I know, yeah. There's a few bits I don't like about the interior. Okay, I'm just going to carry on. What should we summarise this? I'm really impressed with the efficiency.
If you're going to look at a Tesla Model S, look at one of these.
Would you go for the S or this? Bear in mind that obviously the refreshed S now. You know.
I'd probably go. It's probably more difficult.
Or what about?
I would think this might be more practical, but I'm going. Yes, it's a big.
What about
car.
the iX? So let's go down to. I think it starts at about 75, 76 grand. Does the iX, not the M60?
Right, okay.
So 70 odd. Let's call it 80 grand. You're going to option it, aren't you? So 80 odd grand. For one of these, obviously you won't get the performance, but it's still very fast.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
a large
forth.
car, isn't it?
The interior, they're a bit. I mean, it goes all the way around here, doesn't it?
It seems to just like
That ruins it for
forgotten
me.
about that.
This is beautiful. This is. I mean, it feels like this is
Yeah.
going to be around forever.
Yeah.
It ploughs through speed bumps because
Oh,
of it's 2.6 tons, but it doesn't feel.
No, it's comfortable, isn't it?
So it's a BMW to drive.
Yeah.
I would argue that it's definitely got that.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I don't know if it's worth.
The money. Genuinely a nice car, but would you spend your own money on it?
We're having to again this recalibration of what things
What's
cost.
cost you? Yeah.
But for 80 odd grand, you can get a Taycan, just an entry level one. You can get the Model S. You can get the EQC Mercedes.
There's a lot.
And I think that there's a more.
Competing with a lot, isn't it?
I think the Mercedes interior, although this feels like it's put together better, the Mercedes. I felt like I'm in a higher end car.
Yeah. Mercedes always have that, don't they?
It's just how this has got past quality control.
Yeah, I mean they could have put it in this speaker cover sort of thing, couldn't they? That wouldn't have been
It wouldn't take
difficult
much.
to do.
I mean, this, but then you get this, and that alone, I would see every time I got in the car.
It bugged me. Do you know what I mean? It'd be that little thing, and then just like, I can't do with that.
I don't think people will be choosing this with their own money. It's a company
No,
car.
it's a company
So if
car.
this is a company car,
Tick it.
tick.
You will not be disappointed.
I would probably say that for me, it's one of those unnecessary large BMWs, but people get them done. Yeah, you're not going to see a lot. It's not a big seller. It's not designed to be. So I think it fits its purpose. And if you want to put kids in the back, you can make them feel sick anytime you want in the M60.
I'll shut them up. Put the foot down. Yep.
Right, subscribe, join, comment. In fact, let me know about what do you think about the front?
This?
The front.
Yeah, the grille.
Does that ruin it for you? I mean, I don't mind because I'm bothered about this.
But every time you walked up to it, you'd have to park it and walk up to it from the rear.
Is it a growler?
I don't know. Not for me, I don't think.
No.
Make your mind up.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as we always say. So, right, thanks for watching, guys. This is the iX M60. Thanks to BMW, and
see you again.
bye. I guess we'll go do a few more launches. I think.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.